Why am I doing this duel? Because sometimes the joke is on me. You know what? I'm actually glad of this, because after this, there'll be no more Madolche fan duels to analyze. Let's get this on. Here's the setup. Grimoire turned a bunch of teenagers into Dippin' Dots using floodgates. Unfortunately for him, he was stopped by the protagonist, Jace Hubbard. Fortunately for him, his boss Reggie believes in second chances. He told Grimoire and his co-workers to upgrade their decks or return to the afterlife. Everyone else obeyed orders, but Grimoire decided, nah, I'd win. Then proceeded to lose to everyone except the tutorial bots, which is basically like bragging about how you beat up the kid with special needs. Reggie wasn't happy with this news, so he ordered his adopted daughter Candace to introduce him to the math equation of fuck around and find out. Walmart Harley Quinn forced Grimoire into a duel where if he wins, he can do things his way. If he loses, return to Dippin' Dots. So with all the setup out of the way, let's quit our stalling and get brawling. The duel begins and Candace goes first. She draws and her opening hand contains Madolche Mageline, Madolche Butlerusk, Goes in Match, Anti-Spell Fragrance, and an unknown card that we're just going to call Madolche Lesson. She starts by normal summoning Mageline. Its effect activates on summon, letting her add another Madolche monster to her hand. She takes Puddingcessor, and since Candace's grave is empty, she can special summon Puddingcessor. She summons it in attack mode, and because Puddingcessor was special summoned, Candace can special summon a Madolche monster from her hand or deck. Because why work for your meal tickets? She summons Madolche Angeli from her deck. Next, she activates Angeli's effect. By tributing it, Candace can special summon yet another Madolche monster from her deck. She summons Hootcake. Hootcrap's effect activates. By banishing a monster from her graveyard, and Jerry, Candace can summon yet another Madolche from her deck. She summons Messengelato. And because Messengelamo was summoned while Candace controls a beast-type Madolche, she can add a Madolche spell or trap from her deck to her hand. She takes Madolche Salon. Next, she activates her continuous spell Madolche Salon. And as long as this card is face up, she gets an extra normal summon every turn as long as she summons a Madolche monster. Don't tell me Konami doesn't have favorites. Some decks are abandoned, and some just get all the love. She uses her normal summon to summon Madolche Butlerusk, and because Butlerusk was summoned while another Madolche is on the field, Candace can add any field spell from her deck to her hand. She takes Madolche Chateau. Next, Candace uses her Hootcrap and Pudding Sussy in order to link summon Link 2 Madolche Fresh to Start. Next, she activates the field spell Madolche Chateau. This gives all her Madolches a 500-point boost, as well as reshuffles Hootcrap and Pudding Sussy back into her deck. And because Madolches were shuffled into the deck, Salon's other effect activates, letting Candace set any Madolche spell or trap from her deck face down. She chooses the counter trap Madolche Knights, just in case. Finally, Candace sets Anti-Spell Fragrance, Goes in Match, and Madolche Lesson face down, and ends her turn. It pains me to say it, but Candace had a pretty good first turn there. Unfortunately, she started with an extra card in her hand. See, she started with 5 cards in her opening hand, but all Madolche players are supposed to start with 0 cards in their opening hand and 0 life points. It's all written right here in the rulebook. Let's just hope Grimoire can overcome this obstacle. It's Grimoire's turn, and the penultimate turn of the duel. He draws, and his opening hand contains "It doesn't matter what his hand holds!" Because Candace reveals her 2 face-down cards, Anti-Spell Fragrance and Goes in Match. No, both players want to set spells and wait until next turn to activate them. In addition, each player can only control 1 attribute of monster. Candace's monsters are all Earth, so she's fine. But Grimoire and his spellbooks, well, the feeling isn't mutual. With no other preferable options, Grimoire sets Fool of Prophecy in face-down defense mode. He then sets 4 mysterious cards that are most likely spellbook spell cards face down, and ends his turn. It's Candace's turn, and the final turn of the duel. She draws and gets Raigeki. She activates it, so Grimoire's Fool gets Frieza'd. Grimoire begs for mercy, but Madolches don't believe in mercy. They gotta get that batter for sweet somehow. Battle phase, Candace orders all her Madolches to attack directly, letting Grimoire's co-workers witness a public execution and leaving him in a puddle of his own blood, as well as giving an accurate depiction of how it feels to face Madolches. So was Grimoire about to defeat Candace?